Hello there and welcome to this CourtLine tutorial specifically for the purposes of ensuring you've got an accurate attendance register for your Tennis for Free sessions. As you can see here, we're using the Belfield Park website. Big thanks to these guys for allowing us to use their website for this tutorial. Belfield Park is in Inverness and they run the Tennis for Free scheme, and as you can see they've got a nice website going on here. Okay, first off, it's important that each of your coaching staff, all of your team that will be delivering the Tennis for Free session, are registered on the website and have their account converted to an admin level user. I'm already logged in here and I'm a super admin, as will you be as a lead person in the TFF scheme. So you'll be able to log in and then click the admin panel link. You'll then be able to go to the users panel, user details, and then find each of your coaching staff and convert them to admin level user. Currently trying to find my example coach here, Joe example, and simply go down user level, change that to second one in to admin, and then update user at the bottom. You'll see up here that will just process, and in just a moment you'll see that the account is converted to admin. But you need to do that for each of your coaching team, each of the people that will be delivering on your Tennis for Free session. Okay, so back to the home page. So now I'd like to show you how a person would book onto your Tennis for Free session. Via all the promotional material, they're forwarded to your website, and they're also forwarded via the various help information to look at this box here, the Tennis for Free session plugin box, that should be located on the left side of your website. From this box they'll know that if they've already registered and they've added their family members to their account, they can simply just click their name and just book in. And as soon as they've done that, they'll see their name and their other family members that are booked on the session as well. If there's just one person on the account, there won't obviously be a drop down box. It'll just say that person's name, and just simply pressing book will book them on. That's how people would book on. So next thing, and the most important thing for the purposes of this tutorial, is making sure that you track the people on session and pretty much make sure that they're booked in and checked in. So that you know you've got an accurate attendance register. There are two ways to do that. The first way involves loading the page on your mobile phone and actually doing the whole process live at the courts. I'll go through that now. So what I'll do here, I'll log out and then I'll shrink the screen to what will be a phone size screen. So now you're looking at what you'll see on your phone, something like that. So that's what you'll be able to see on your phone. Automatically shrinks to the right size. Here I am going to log in with my admin level user, and from clicking login now, I'm automatically, you'll notice, taken straight to the event in question. This is because I am booked onto the Tennis for Free session as an administrator. That's the same process as a normal user, but because I've had my account converted to an admin user, I automatically get transferred after login to the next session I'm booked onto. So in this case it's the one in question, which is the 3rd of the 8th. This is in a couple of days time, and you'll see here from your phone screen that there are 17 people attending so far. Obviously there'll be more to come by Sunday morning, and the 4 administrators of the session are all already booked in. Okay, so just imagine we're here at the Belfield Park and people are just starting to arrive, and you've got your phone logged into the screen, and here you can see what's going on. Obviously as an admin user you can see this information here. A normal user won't get any of this. They'll just be able to see the rest of the page, the events page in question, if they were to load it up from the website. But as an admin user you can access these extra tools. And that is an attendance grid. You can see the ages of the people who are coming along, and obviously you've got these interactive buttons here. Okay, so first person comes along, you check them in, find out their name, obviously click the attendees button. It's in alphabetical order, and from here you can, if they've booked in correctly, you'll simply be able to press their name and just check them in. This actually has no programmatical purpose, it's just ease of use for you to just press to see who's not attended, and then you can obviously delete them off if they've booked in but haven't actually turned up. Okay, so that's the easy bit. If they happen to have come along and they haven't booked in, they've forgotten, but they have previously registered on the website, it's a pretty easy process. Press the Book in Attendees button here, and then from here you can add in the person in question and add them straight to the attendance list. Now if I press the refresh button here, you'll see that that now adds them to the list. There were 17 before, now 18. Okay, so that's also pretty easy. The next process, which is the worst case scenario and something you want to try and avoid and train people to book in obviously on your weekly sessions, is if they approach you and they haven't registered on the website and therefore they haven't booked in. This process, you need to create them a user account. It's still pretty simple. So in this case, press that button there, create user account. Right, you need to create them a username that consists of their first name underscore last name. This is basically just a quick way of capturing their first name and last name and username all in the same process. So Steve underscore Smith. Password, you can auto-generate a password for them. Phone number, if you enter in their phone number here, whatever that is. Email address, obviously just enter their email address in there. If they're one of a minority of people who haven't got an email, you can still fudge the system by using this here, the bin email. Press that and that will create a fake email that can be used for the purposes of getting them on the system. This is a last resort. Please don't use this if at all possible. I've never come across anybody in the last 5-10 years who hasn't got an email, and I'm sure they probably have, even if they're saying they haven't. If you suspect that, try and convince them to give you their email. You know, it's a free session, it's a service for them. All they've got to do is register and book in. That's all we ask of them. Their details are held securely, and there won't be any spam sent out, and won't be any shared with any third parties. And they can also unsubscribe from any mails should they want to. So there really isn't any reason for them not to divulge their email. Hopefully that won't be a problem and they'll give it you without any issues at all. For the purpose of this, I'll just use this bin email here. Then you've got the date of birth. This is obviously quite a sensitive thing if you're there with somebody and you need to know their date of birth. So there's another option. Take a quick glance, subtle glance at them, and then you can sort of guess their age range. So here, and that will put in a date of birth for them in the middle of that age category there. That's purely just for stats purposes. When they log into this account later, they can change their details to be accurate. Then next is just their gender, obviously male in this case, and then add main account. Okay, so that now is just adding the person into the system. And then soon as that's happened, we'll get an alert to say that they've successfully registered an account. Now, as a note here, the user must retain their username, Steve Smith, and password to gain future access. This is because we've used a bin email account, and so they won't be receiving any emails from us. So in order to log in, they need to know that username and password. So get them to make a note of that, or write it on a piece of paper and give it to them. Just so they can log in and book in themselves next time. Okay, so the main account is added, but this guy has 2 kids he wants to add in the session as well. So you press the add family member. He's got a son, say Joe. and so add family member in here. That's added another in, and then I can also add the second family member. Sarah Smith this time, and she's 9 to 15, female, add her in too. Okay, then when you've done adding the main account holder and their family members, just press done, and then you're back to that screen again. Now, once you've had the account created for them, you can just simply book in the attendees now. So I can obviously book in Steve Smith. Here. I can book in Sarah. And there you have it. So I've created an account and booked in those users. Okay, so when you've checked everybody in, you've booked in those people who have got an account but haven't booked in that week, and you've created an account and booked in those people that have just turned up without doing anything, you should have an accurate attendance register. Now, if the session had passed, which it hasn't yet, this is in the future, so I'm kind of pretending this is in the present, I would see a review attendance button here. In fact, what I will do, I will go to an old session, one that's perhaps not had the attendance reviewed, and show you on there instead. Okay, let's try here. So here we had 45 attendees and 3 administrators, and so here, review attendance. Pressing review attendance will show you the list, and it will also give you the option to add any additional people if you realize you've just missed any off. But at the bottom here, you'll see submit attendance. Once you've pressed that, the attendance is submitted into the system, and all the buttons are then removed. So you can just see the summary there, 45 attendees and 3 administrators. And so all of that is done on your phone live in the session. Second option, should you want to do things differently, I'll make this screen bigger again. This is an alternative thing you can do. In the second scenario, you can choose to visit the session in question. So let's go back to our the session we were looking at on the 3rd of August. Okay, so it's about, let's say, 9:30 in the morning, and I'm about to set off to start this session. Just about to leave the house. So now what I want to do is I want to print out the attendance register, because I don't have a smartphone, or the signal at the park is terrible, perhaps non-existent. You've got another option this way to actually print out the register. So in this case here, I print the register out on my printer at home. That will give out just a paper list, obviously, of all of the people booked in on your Tennis for Free session. Okay, now I obviously go to the site, and then I check off each of the people as they arrive, simply on the attendance register. Those people who have come after I printed out the register, so those people who live a bit closer than me and perhaps set off at 10:15, sorry, they obviously won't be on my register, so I can just write them on the paper. That also goes for people who have registered on the system but haven't booked in. You can simply add in their names as well on the paper register. And then finally, for those who haven't registered on the website and obviously haven't booked in, I can give them a TFF capture card to complete, and that essentially gives you all the details you need to create the user account. Okay, so at the end of the session, I've got an accurate register with a bunch of capture cards and a bunch of people to add in. I then simply return to my computer later that day and just manually process the paper attendance list from earlier in the day. Same kind of thing. take my attendees, check they're all correct. By then, the session will have finished, and you'll see that review attendance button. You don't see it at the minute because it's the session is in the future. But I'll see that review attendance button. I can press that, and that will process the attendance. Okay, a couple more things to note. If you created an account for the user, then obviously added their family members to their account and obviously booked them in, as a result of them turning up to the session without any form of registration on the website or booking, then they don't need to then go home and register themselves on the website. You've created that account for them. They will be emailed the details automatically from you having performed that process, and they will then be able to log in with those details and update their profile, and also obviously perform a normal booking for the next Tennis for Free session. So please be sure they know that they don't need to do that, as if they then do that when they get home, they'll probably be a little confused, as the system won't let them register an account. Okay, another thing to note is the cancel this session button. This is needs to be pressed if the session was cancelled. It can be done after the session. Obviously, you turned up to the session, it absolutely tipped it down a rain, and the session had to be cancelled. So then press cancel this session. You'll have obviously some details to fill in here, put the reason, and then click cancel session. If you didn't mean to do that, and like in my case, I'm just using this as a demo, and this is a live session. If you do press that cancel this session and you don't want to perform the cancellation, then abort is the button to abort the whole process. So that's back to how I was. Okay, so you can cancel the session ahead of the session too. If in extenuating circumstances you need to cancel a session that hasn't yet happened, like say in this case on the 3rd of August, a couple of days time, something's gone majorly wrong, the courts needed to be redone, there's been some other reason why the session cannot continue, I can cancel this session and then perform that same process. That will then email all of the people automatically that have booked on, and it will prevent anybody else from booking on to that session. Finally, just some general things we would suggest in this whole process. We would say there are 3 options to managing this process of making sure that you've got an accurate attendance register. The 3 ways you can do it are: get a volunteer to do this for you, because it is kind of a little bit of a labor-intensive job and one that needs to be accurate. If you can't find a volunteer, perhaps pay a nominal £5 for an hour to perhaps a student or anybody else, in fact, that is going to be happy to perform this registration and accurate attendance register process for you. Alternatively, if you want to keep it in the team, you can obviously try and manage it yourself. We would recommend the person delivering the parent and child session, they're just doing a 1-hour session, and they'll have probably spent 20 minutes setting up the court. So essentially they'll have done 1 hour and 20 minutes worth of time on the TFF session. So they've got another 40 minutes of admin that you can get them to do as part of their 2 hours payment. So after that first hour, when the parent and child session finishes, they can then be tasked with making sure that they capture everybody onto the system, either via those 2 methods of a paper-based system if the sheet's already been printed out, or obviously via their phone on the live register system. Okay, well that's it. Thanks very much, and if you have any questions or issues, problems at all, please get in touch and we'll be only too happy to try and help where we can. Thank you.